Let's begin with the story of this innocent girl. This is a young Chinese girl raised a young Chinese girl. She's yet to know what the future awaits for her. But there waits a strong berries. Sorry.
Look how upset that made you look.
Look at how.
Yeah, do you know about this?
Creepy old man who she's never met. This baby is about like 2 years old, 1 year old, but she's already been like sent off on a contract to this like creepy man.
And this is the issue with many children.
Even if she doesn't grasp it, she's not at an age where she can consent to it.
And this is the issue. And this is the issue that many children in nations like China and India. It is a very unfortunate case, and you can see why. So let's start. What is bride trafficking? To quote the Oxford Dictionary, it's a phenomenon of forced marriage and sexual slavery. The reason it is labeled as slavery is because the women are objectified and forced to be the property of a man. But because they are generally unwealthy, they have no say in this. She had no say in this, and oftentimes they're undocumented because they come from very rural areas where populations aren't properly managed.
Okay, so we decided to focus on China because this is where a lot of child trafficking happens. Oh yeah, also because guys, it was Chinese New Year a few years ago. A few days ago. So like we said like Happy Chinese New Year. So we wanted to like celebrate Chinese New Year, bring awareness to this important topic. But obviously a lot of Asia like suffers from child bride trafficking. India, a lot like Cambodia, Bangladesh, like all those places. So.
So in 2024, Chinese police arrested more than 1,300 people suspected of assisting in marriage trafficking. However, women are still trafficked. Again, there's no exact data on how many women are trafficked. As I already mentioned, they're generally from rural areas that are undocumented. But Chinese authorities have arrested 1,300 in just the year 2024 alone.
Also, if we look at this chart, we can see these are like the many provinces of China. So we can see that like there's definitely some more like rural provinces have a lot more instances of child
Oh, that's
trafficking.
Ada's mom's province.
Wait, that actually is, bro. What the hell?
So
But that's one of the highest ones.
Ada, we would like to ask you, do you know the Yunnan?
Yes. My best friend of 16 years is from there.
So this is
Where
where
everybody turns?
bride trafficking is most common in.
So we can see the reason for this is because these more rural places, like there's not much surveillance. Like it's very like the police maybe are grouped up or like it's very undercooked. So like nobody knows about it, but everyone accepts it happens. You know.
Guys, what is out intensity and in intensity?
So basically it's talking about the amount of
It's basically like in like out they mean like identified and in they mean like
Yeah. So let's talk about the main causes of China's one-child policy. So the main causes of bride trafficking in China. So the first one is China's one-child policy. So like obviously does anyone not know what that was?
No.
Okay, cool. So everyone knows what it was. So basically, because of China's one-child policy, the country has a very big gender imbalance. They have a big preference for boys. So it's like a lot of times, like a person has like a girl, they'll like abort the baby, or they'll like get rid of the baby because they don't want a girl, they want a guy.
and it's so serious to the point where they stopped allowing like the gender before marriage because they would just abort the child if they do it.
Exactly. So like because if this happens, the sex ratio of men to women in China is like very flawed, and most people it's like 115 to 100. So that's like crazy. There's so much more men than women that it's very hard for men to find a girl, and they might like pay for a girl or go into bride trafficking. Also, China has very limited population. Once again, they have a very large population, and they're very exactly. They don't have a job for their whole population. So that's why a lot of like poor families will send their kids off to get like bride trafficked because it's just yeah. And they have yeah.
So often the man will give something in return for the child, which again relates to the concept of slavery, of just objectifying or having ownership over it.
So where it happens through China or the girls are or the Chinese young boys are sent outside.
Mr. Adi, a question.
So bride trafficking is for generally young girls as they do not have a say. So boys do not face.
Well, we specifically said bride trafficking, we chose to focus on like brides like girls, but like obviously it happens to the boys too.
No. Who cares about the boys?
But boys
Yeah,
are not.
girls are not.
And it's generally the age gap between the bride and the man is a really big age gap. So be a grown man.
And also the comparison between women and there's more men and there's women. Why? Because of the generations of like parents aborting their daughters, like there's a really big gap between
So the parents are
70%
selling,
men and 30% women.
so they are selling their
They're selling their
Exactly,
daughters.
and most of the time it's out of China, but there's also a lot of like prevalence in China.
And generally they vote for the daughter's better future, but it's not.
Sure, no, you're a terrible parent. Like,
Yeah.
They think to themselves that like, oh, since I can
Oh,
provide
yes,
my
no.
daughter, better that I send my daughter off to someone and they can try for her and I get my kids now.
Okay, now Mira's gonna talk about the final that she made.
Bride trafficking. So first, gender imbalance. So due to one-child policy in China and cultural preference for male children, China developed a severe gender imbalance. As a result, there are significantly fewer women of marriageable age compared to men, especially in rural areas, leading to a bride shortage. And then cultural norms. In traditional Chinese society, marriage is seen as a critical duty of women, and carrying on the family lineage is essential. The pressure to marry leads some families to resort to trafficking brides to fulfill this cultural expectation. And then lack of awareness. Like not many individuals in rural communities know that like human trafficking is illegal, so they may like unknowingly participate.
So these are the different causes, and this is in the form of mind map. So you have to explain all the perspectives. So these are economic perspective, gender imbalance, social, lack of cultural, lack of awareness. So all case studies should be answered with different perspective. Very good.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about some possible solutions for child trafficking. So number one, obviously, this is kind of obvious. One of them make stricter punishments for anyone involved in trafficking. Because right now it's very corruption, a lot of so adding stricter punishments will make the prevalence of this less often. Another solution would be to strengthen policies to improve women's access to education, because if women have jobs, then they're less likely to be trafficked. And if they're able to be educated, then normally they'll get better incomes, and if they put them on a better life trajectory, then they can get even like not susceptible to trafficking.
Yeah, and I think education is obviously the first step. Education is obviously the first step to open role. Then once you get a proper education, you're allowed to get a proper job.
Yeah, and
You can break the
personally,
cycle.
we also discussed that if these parents were properly educated, they would probably not sell their daughters.
So it's like a generational thing.
So once one person gets education, it's like
Education is power.
Okay, so
Okay, so rehabilitation, so we can offer psychological counseling, legal aid, and vocational training for rest of time, and have them reintegrate into society. Obviously, like when women are bride trafficked, it has very, there are very detrimental impacts on women's mental health, and just being able to give her ease into fitting into society after is very important.
Yes.
And then finally, some kind of like a new perspective she wanted to bring, that the use of like AI and other like data monitoring tools to like try and find bride trafficking, because it helps like the illegal like routes. So we thought because like ChatGPT is like so common, like other AI, it could all be like used to help solve the solution.
So wait, these solutions are also with different perspective, different ideas. So technology, rehabilitation, and gender inequality laws. So all the problems you find, you give the solution also with different kind of point of view. Yes.
Yeah.
The questions. Guys, you don't need to click. I'll just
Okay.
here.
Okay.
So the first question, and
we're just like there's many things to answer here. So first of all, bride trafficking in Asia, it involves the forced sale of women into marriage, often due to economic hardship, gender imbalances, or false promises. False promises is one thing that was not mentioned in the slide before. Oftentimes, when they're looking into selling their daughter into a family, they give a promise of, oh, don't worry, we're gonna treat your daughter so good, we're gonna do this, everything's gonna be fine, but these are false promises. It's not there's some legal document where they can sign all of this is illegal. What happens is all times the girl gets abused and they don't keep up with their side of the promise. And this is a very normal situation that happens.
Can you just enlarge that in the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
These are like the key points.
These were the questions that were on the worksheet that we were doing.
So the stakeholders, who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are the traffickers who profit from the trade, one, the victims of their families who suffer emotionally and physically oftentimes because of physical abuse, and governments and law enforcement who are responsible for prevention and justice, and NGOs who are working to stop trafficking and support survivors. So what happens? Traffickers use deceptive methods such as false job offers or arranged marriages. In this modern day, it's very unlikely that, I mean, it's still very likely that they sell their daughters, but like, you get into the trap by accident. No one is ever Googling, not just technology, no one is ever searching up or asking around, how can I sell my daughter? They'll see some job requirement, then there'll be some small things like, oh, okay, if you want some more money, or why don't you just like marry? Like, people get into it by accident oftentimes, yeah.
Also with that, with a lot of teenagers, because like sometimes they're on their phone and they like accidentally don't know what they're getting into, they like tag your like numbers, so that's another way of bride trafficking.
Like, there's no clear thing where someone wakes up one day and they're like, I'm gonna sell my daughter. It's always like, you get a job, you see a false job offer, it's like,
People get tricked very often.
it's always tricky. So then, evidence on bride trafficking, there's research and statistics to show its prevalence and causes, and there's many survivor testimonies to provide real life accounts of like their situation, what they faced, how was it like being married, being sold off. So then,
this is the best, like, you will continue that. Guys, listen, guys, now this is how you should, like, with your enthusiasm, with your research, you can actually perform, and you don't actually have to read for that in detail. You just perform in such a way that you listen that, be a good listener. This is the one thing that I want from you guys. Be a good listener. Because if you listen them, then you don't need to read it properly. If you listen it properly, that means this whole research was in front of you. So see, they are not serious. You are not serious. I am telling you to listen it properly. See, you think about yourself.
What are your views as an example?
Because you make like noise, it disturb them. So they are not disturbing anyone. They are not disturbing anyone.
Wow, we're talking to each other.
See what happened? I want for you only to listen properly. Okay, next time, after 5 minutes break, when they present, all of you have to listen.